What is up, Baggies fans, football fans, and sports fans, to the latest episode on this channel? And we are doing and bringing back Icon Wednesday during international break. Obviously, I can't do any game week predictions because there is no game, unfortunately, this weekend, and I can't stand international breaks. It's so boring without football. So let's do Icon Wednesdays. Let's bring it back and let's focus on a position we've never focused on before, and that is goalkeeper. And why not start with potentially the best goalkeeper to ever put the shirt on for West Bromwich Albion, John Osborne? Oh no, your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is he the best to ever put the shirt on, or is there somebody you think is better? Let me know who else you want me to feature in this series, obviously during the off season and other international breaks that are coming. Let's aim for 25 likes on this video. I know this series doesn't tend to do as well as my other content, so let's aim for a nice 25 likes and subscribe. We are well on our way to 700 subscribers, so I appreciate each and every one of you for dropping in, subscribing and watching my content. We are on our way to the big 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That is the goal, that is the aim, and let us dive into it. Now, when you talk about West Bromwich Albion legends, there's always names that come up. Astle, Regis, Cunningham, Cantello, all ones I've already featured. But sometimes there's a player who stood between the sticks that gets overlooked. And today we're shining the spotlight on one of Albion's most iconic keepers of the modern era, John Osborne. Osborne wasn't just a reliable presence in goal, he was a character, a man who told the story goes far beyond football. He was a player who helped develop silverware to the Hawthorns, stood tall against some of the best forwards in English football, and became a cult hero in the Black Country. Born on the 7th of December 1940 in Marlborough, Derbyshire, Osborne didn't come through as one of the big academies. His path was built on hard work and persistence, much like a lot of the winning side in the Albion in the 60s and obviously 70s. After spells with Chesterfield and Derby County, he joined West Bromwich Albion in 1966, and for the next decade became a fixture in the side. His defining moment, of course, came in the 1968 Wembley FA Cup final. Osborne was in goal for the victory over Everton. He played barehanded, fearless, and uncompromising, pulling off crucial saves that kept Albion in the game until Jeff Astle's winner sealed the cup. That performance turned Osborne into a hero, the man who stood tall on one of Albion's greatest days. But if bravery on the pitch wasn't enough, Osborne had already shown resilience in life. At just 24 years old, he was diagnosed with cancer and underwent surgery that removed a rib and part of his lung. For many footballers, that would have been the end. But Osborne, he came back. He fought his way back into football and went on to win major honours. That's why supporters admired him so deeply. He was a fighter, not just in the penalty area, but in life itself. And then obviously there's his nickname, which I've only just recently found out myself, was Bionic. Now, the reason he earned that nickname was because he had a plastic joint fitted into one of his fingers. When you think about, this is in like the 60s, that sort of like medical science wasn't really like well known of at the time. So for him to have undergone an operation like that must have been just scary in itself. And as I said, that kind of thing was just unheard of. It only added to his mystique, the tough, eccentric keeper who had literally been rebuilt to keep playing the game he loved. In an age before modern sports science and surgery, Osborne was a real one-off. Fans embraced their name and it stuck, the Bionic Goalkeeper of the Hawthorns. He made over 250 appearances between 1966 and 1977. Osborne played in Europe domestic finals and in some of Albion's most memorable matches of an era. He wasn't always the most orthodox keeper, sometimes he did things his own way, but he certainly had a commanding presence, a sharp mind, and a never-say-die spirit that defined Albion's identity. And as I say, a lot of players in that era were very much built and brought from the same sort of, background, tough, resilient, wanting to do the best for the team. After hanging up his boots, Osborne went on to make his mark in another sport, becoming a commercial manager at Worcestershire County Cricket Club. He helped bring modern commercial deals into the county game, even pioneering shirt sponsorships, something we take for granted now, but was revolutionary back then. Sadly, unfortunately, John Osborne passed away in 1998, aged just 57. Far, far too young. But by this, he was a legend at the Albion. He was secured as one of the all-time greats as a goalkeeper. For the fans who watched him, he was unforgettable. The Wembley hero, the man who fought back from cancer, the eccentric keeper with his bionic finger. When we talk about Albion icons, it's often the goal scorers who grab the headlines. But without men like Osborne, the ones who kept the goals out at the other end, the silverware might never have arrived. He was more than just a goalkeeper. He was a fighter, a character, and above all, a legend at West Bromwich Albion. And that is why he is the feature of this week's Iconic Wednesday, the bionic keeper of the Hawthorns. As I say, guys, I really, really appreciate you watching these videos. I know they don't do as well as some of my other content, but I feel it's nice to just go back and look over history of some fantastic players that have played for the Albion and give them almost a bit of a spotlight to a new generation of fans that would never have heard of him. Me personally, obviously, long, long before my time. So doing the research, obviously writing my script for this, just to read off what a fantastic, fantastic name to be brought into the light of modern day football, and somebody that we should all respect for what he's done. So thank you very much, everybody. Obviously, drop a like. Let me know who else you'd like to see in this series in future, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye, Baggies fans.